Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a journey. We're going to find entire civilizations lost to time and uncover the urgent messages they hold for us today.
You know, for thousands of years, huge cities have just vanished, wiped from memory, erased from maps. They became legends, myths. But here's the thing. This isn't fantasy. It's a very real story that's unfolding right now.
It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but entire civilizations can just be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to literally stumble upon them. Take Cappadocia in Turkey. Back in 1963, a guy knocked down a wall in his basement and found a room. That room led to a tunnel, and that tunnel led to an entire underground world that nobody knew existed.
Okay, so let's dive into that. We're starting with these wonders that have been found right under our feet, beginning with that incredible discovery, the underground city of Derinkuyu. Now, this wasn't just some little cellar or a hideout. No way. This was a full-blown subterranean metropolis, an engineering marvel, big enough to shelter an estimated 20,000 people. 20,000, along with all their livestock and food, for months at a time.
It was carved 85 meters straight down into soft volcanic rock, and it had everything. Homes, stables, wineries, chapels, even a school. It was all connected by this maze of tunnels that could be sealed from the inside with these massive rolling stone doors. The perfect defense system.
But some of these lost sites are so mind-bogglingly old, they completely shatter our timeline of human history. Take Göbekli Tepe, also in Turkey. It goes back to around 9600 BCE. To put that in perspective for you, that is almost 7,000 years before Stonehenge, and it was built by hunter-gatherers, which proves that complex societies were building these monumental structures long before we ever thought possible.
So the big question is, how does a thriving, complex civilization just disappear off the face of the Earth? Well, it seems something has to go very, very wrong.
Well, sometimes it's sudden and catastrophic. You know, like Mount Vesuvius erupting and burying Pompeii in an instant, a perfect, tragic snapshot of life. But other times, it's a much slower burn, a creeping environmental change that slowly strangles a civilization over centuries. And that's exactly what the evidence suggests happened in the Indus Valley, home to the amazing city of Mohenjo-Daro. A huge shift in the climate kicked off a centuries-long drought. It completely wrecked the farming systems that their huge cities depended on, and it led to this gradual but totally irreversible decline.
For most of history, finding these lost worlds was basically just dumb luck. But today, we don't have to just stumble upon them. We have these powerful new tools that let us see what's completely invisible to the naked eye.
And this is where you meet the space archaeologists. It's a real thing. Pioneers like Dr. Sarah Parcak use technology that's orbiting hundreds of miles above us to scan the Earth. By processing imagery from different parts of the light spectrum, they can make the outlines of buried structures literally pop out from the landscape.
And maybe their most incredible tool is LiDAR. It's like a superpower for archaeologists, I'm not kidding. They fly a plane that shoots millions of laser pulses down to the ground, and it creates this hyper-detailed 3D map. It can essentially peel away modern landscapes, like entire jungles, to see the ground beneath.
So, that brings us to what was a seemingly impossible challenge, one that stumped archaeologists for decades. How do you find a city that has been completely swallowed by a thick, remote jungle?
The answer is LiDAR. You digitally peel back that impenetrable canopy, and suddenly thousands of previously unknown Maya structures appear. We're talking houses, pyramids, whole cities. It proved the civilization was far more massive and complex than we ever imagined.
But finding these lost worlds isn't just some academic treasure hunt. They're stories of survival, and especially their stories of collapse. They hold some really vital warnings for our own incredibly complex, interconnected world.
Scientists can analyze ancient sediment from lake beds, and it tells this dramatic story. For the Indus Valley civilization, everything changed around 4,200 years ago. A stable, wet climate just flipped. It turned into a period of prolonged drought, and that climate shock lines up exactly with when their society began to shrink and eventually collapse.
You see almost the same story at Angkor, the capital of the Khmer Empire.
Their water management system was an absolute marvel of engineering. But its very complexity became its fatal flaw. When it got hit with severe climate swings, we're talking intense droughts, then massive monsoons, the rigid system just couldn't adapt. It failed, catastrophically. And the parallel is chilling. Our own global systems, from power grids to supply chains, are just as complex, just as interdependent, and just as vulnerable.
So really, when we look into these lost worlds, we're kind of looking in a mirror. It's the study of us, our shared journey, our amazing creativity, our resilience, and our deep responsibility to the past and the future.
But this shared heritage is under constant attack, not from ancient climate change, but from modern criminal activity. The scale is just devastating. In Egypt alone, satellite imagery found over 200,000 looting pits, dug in just over a decade. Often driven by poverty, each one of those pits is a tomb torn apart, a piece of our human story that's lost forever.
So, as space archaeologist Sarah Parkek argues, the solution isn't just to build higher fences. The best chance we have is to connect local communities to their own heritage, to give them economic opportunities, and to build this global sense of shared ownership. We have to empower people to become the guardians of their own past.
These lost worlds prove that humanity has faced enormous challenges before, and we've survived. They're a testament to our ingenuity and our fragility. By listening to their stories, we're not just learning about the past. We might just learn how to navigate our own future.